We want to cover core functions of government, but we're run surpluses for 3 years in a row of almost $1 billion. It's time to return money to taxpayers in Mississippi for them to spend it as they see fit.
Mississippi Speaker of the House Jason White there talking about his side of the legislature passing a bill this week to eliminate the state income tax over 10 years and reduce the grocery tax. This bill now goes to the state Senate.
It does, and part of that reduction plan includes a new 5% tax on gasoline sales that, if passed, would go toward the Mississippi Department of Transportation's budget for roads and bridges. And joining us now to talk about that, MDOT Southern District Transportation Commissioner Charles Busby. Thanks for joining us this morning. And so the bottom line here is there's been a lot of celebration this week with people behind this bill, eliminating this income tax over a period of 10 years. But in terms of MDOT, a lot of money is moving around in terms of how you will receive funding. Just kind of break that down for us. And the bottom line is MDOT going to get more or less money?
MDOT's going to get more money. But the money that we lose is the lottery money. We get the first $80 million of lottery currently, and that's used for paving across the state. And it's been very beneficial to us. But the way this bill is crafted, the first $100 million would go to help secure PERS. And then everything over 100 would be split 50-50 by MDOT, actually in the multimodal division. And the Education Enhancement Act.
So this has started off well, at least for proponents of the bill. HB1 got through the House, now going to the Senate and on down the line with the procedure. But you got to feel good so far, especially if MDOT's going to benefit from this. We've seen a lot about, there's a lot of work going on down here, but all over the state too. So that money's going to be spent pretty quickly if all that comes to pass, right?
Well, as Speaker White pointed out, we've had budgets that are well beyond what we normally have the last 3 years. So we've been able to use that one-time money towards our capacity projects, getting capacity projects such as 57, such as Highway 90 between Goche and Ocean Springs, the projects that are widening I-10, and then other projects throughout the state. One-time money. If we don't get recurring revenue that is similar in size to that one-time money, then after those projects are completed, then the capacity program gets shelved again, as it has been for many, many years. This bill is masterfully crafted, does a lot of things for a lot of people, lowers the grocery tax, which impacts positively everyone, including the elderly. So, if you're a retired person and you're not paying any income tax, which that isn't true for all retired people. Most people pay an income tax, that would be eliminated for them, but your grocery tax gets cut by 3%. And then you do have the 5% on fuel, but by that time you're probably not buying as much fuel. If you just run the numbers, if you got a vehicle that gets 20 miles to the gallon, and you drive 20,000 miles a year, then you burn 1,000 gallons of fuel. Let's just say, just for keep the math simple, it's $3 a gallon. Well, that would mean you would pay an additional $150 a year for fuel.
Right, simplifying it there for us. Right. And an additional 5% tax on gasoline, where does that fall in line with other states in our region?
That would put you about middle of the pack.
Okay.
Including the additional 5%.
All right.
Right now we're 49th.
Okay. All right. So there is room to, people will complain about an increase in gas tax.
This is the first meaningful conversation we've had about fuel, about transportation since 1987. And I hope our friends in the Senate will see how this bill positively impacts a lot of people. They've got a lot of smart people at the Senate. I hope they will scrutinize the bill, and I'm sure they can offer suggestions to make it even better. And I hope they will. I hope they don't take a stance of, well, we don't like it, but we don't have a solution of our own.
Right. And you were talking about those things you needed to get done. There's always stuff going on. You talked about it, I-10 over in Diamond Head, finishing up the Minge Avenue exit, keeping Highway 90 going, the
Highway
57, that's a huge one too. Yeah. And those things, they're not going away either. So, even whatever happens with this, you guys are still going to be pretty busy.
We're going to be busy, but we will have to shelve the capacity program again if once we complete those projects, if we don't find recurring revenue of about the size that is being suggested in this bill.
So, Charles, this is changing subjects, but we do have the we're recording on Friday. This airs on Sunday, but there is the possibility of winter weather looking into next week.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
How is MDOT getting ready? Do you feel like that the roads will be in good shape in case?
Yeah, I've been watching you guys. I've been
Right.
paying a lot of attention to WLOX weather, and I'm looking for those models to get on the same page, because that's what I'm hearing needs to happen. But we've got two wonderful district engineers in southern Mississippi. District 6 is Billy Owen. District 7 is Albert White. And those guys will be on top of this, I assure you. They will be setting up and staging for it before it ever happens, and putting as much sand out on the bridges and things like that before it ever gets here, as would make sense. But you know, we really don't have the equipment to fight that kind of stuff in South Mississippi.
It's not our bag.
So we may have to be borrowing some from our friends up in the north part of the state.
Well, I know they did really well with that last week, as they did when that wintry mix came through near Memphis. Didn't have really any major issues. So hopefully that'll happen
set
here
up,
too.
John Caldwell and his team up there, they set up perfectly. They did a great job, managed it well. We had no issues.
All right, Charles Busby, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.